All right, what's up, Collider TV Talk fans? Josh McCouga here with Roxy Stryer, the queen of salads, as she's being called, the mother of kale. I don't know, the queen of cob, the
house kale.
House kale, Roxy of house kale. She had a salad on her face and some in her teeth earlier before the show, but we're rolling now. We sent out a question. And you can hashtag it Collider TV Talk. You can follow Collider Video. You can subscribe to the channel. You can subscribe to the Collider Podcast channel on YouTube, where clips of this show are popped up. You can follow me at Josh McCouga. You can follow Roxy at Roxy Stryer. And we thank you for we sent out a tweet that just said, Roxy Stryer and I are taking a hypothetical Game of Thrones question for today's episode. What if blank? It can be anything GOT related. Let's go. And we've got...
say let's go more passionately.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The old Pittsburgh Steelers coach name was Bill Cowher, and this big jaw, and he would spit, and he would go, let's go.
I've learned recently that I really like a powerful jaw.
A lot of powerful jaw?
Yeah.
I don't
Ron
have that.
Perlman type jaw.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Like a good jaw.
Yeah. I
Jaw
don't like,
feel?
I don't like Ja Rule, but...
Let's go.
It's hard to like him this year. Oh, I want Cody to stay in the booth the whole episode
I know,
so
he's
bad.
not going to do that.
I wish I could,
yeah.
Do you wish that, Cody?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
I think he likes us. I think he likes our energy that we bring.
Not to toot our own horn, not to brag, but we kind of do have the most fun show.
100%.
And they don't know that because they don't care and they don't listen. But without a doubt, I've listened to everybody's show in this office, and ours is for sure the most fun.
I agree.
I don't know about the other adjectives, but fun? Yes.
Is it the most professional? It's correct. Thank you, Cody. Nothing like you staying in for the first 10 minutes or so to just give us some sick sound bites, buddy. I appreciate it.
Are they sick, man?
They're
Are they
sick,
dope?
bro. So we got 43 comments.
So far, while we're doing this, we could get more. Don't spoil it.
So I'm just going to ask these questions, and we're going to try and go through as many as we possibly can. If the questions are repeated, whatever. So we're going to start with Zach Pope at hashtag PFF 2019.
I think that's pronounced
2019. Oh, no.
2019.
Zach Pope at hashtag PFF. I don't know. Putting a hashtag, or no, his Twitter handle
You're
is
killing
at
it so far. Killing it so far.
At the Pope King. At the Pope King says, what if the Night King brings back Khal Drogo, Ned Stark, or even Robb Stark back to blank some stuff up?
So here's, those are all would look very different.
Awesome, but hysterical.
If I had to pick one to bring back at this point, I would pick Khal Drogo.
Okay.
I think that would be the most, like our show, fun.
Yeah. But also
infusion
scary.
and scary.
But also the best oh shit.
Because
or Robb Stark.
Yeah, all of them. I mean, Ned, Robb, or Khal would be.
I don't think you can bring back Ned because his head was chopped off.
I don't think you could bring back any of these people. But I'm just saying that if I had to pick one, a fan service one that I would like, because you know, of all the things, any show I watch, it does not matter if you are a comedy, if you are the weirdest show on that, whatever, I'm a love girl. I'm interested in the love stories. And so it would be fascinating to see now with Danny and John, like Drogo comes back and he just comes back and is like, that's your freaking aunt, you bitch.
No, that's not how it works. He can't talk.
Why?
Because the Night King brings back like the army of the dead.
Well, I'm talking about his mind. He's still thinking. You don't think they have any thoughts?
No, they're skeletons.
No way. They have thoughts.
Okay.
It's not walkers. This
It
isn't
is
Walking
walkers.
Dead.
Yeah, they're walkers.
No, this isn't the Walking. When you look at them, you can tell they all have like these "I'm gonna murder you" eyes.
Yeah, well, because they're blue, but they're being controlled by the Night
all
King.
people with blue eyes look like they're gonna
Not
murder you.
Those ice blue things that they have.
I don't know.
Yes.
I think that they've got thoughts.
I think you're wrong.
I think that dragon has thoughts. I think they all have got thoughts.
Okay. All right. Well, I think you're completely wrong. But if I was going
Am
to go,
I?
yes. But if I was
that
going to
true?
go, yes. But
Factually
yes.
or opinionally?
Totally, 100% true. Because
No.
if you kill one of the Night Kings, a bunch of the other people die.
What do you mean?
Like if you kill a Night King, a bunch of the dead people die.
Yeah.
So they're being controlled by the Night King.
But you don't think that you think that there's nothing going on. They're
Nothing.
not. Wow.
They're being controlled just to fight and attack.
I think that they're thinking, F them up.
Okay.
Which is what Khal Drogo would think when he sees them.
Okay.
Let's F Jon Snow up.
Sure. I think he wants to F everybody up. But I'm saying the best oh shit moment for me would be Khal Drogo. Maybe Robb Stark, because we never see what the Freys do with the people from the Red Wedding? Do they burn them? Do they bury them? Whatever? Could they be brought back if they're up in the north already? Khal Drogo's body, he was already pretty much a dead person.
Don't you think for Ned,
a headless Ned?
You don't think that that
put a pumpkin on him?
Would we even know it was Ned? I would rather see a bodiless Ned, just the head.
With the wolf,
Night King kind of holds
with the
him.
wolf from House Stark on his armor. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, we're wasting too much time on one question. Okay. This one comes from @Ren0. What if Jon had Ghost with him at the Battle of the Bastards, and then when Ramsay sent Rickon running towards him, Jon sent Ghost to go grab him and bring him to safety? I would like to counter it if that's how Ghost was killed via some arrow from Ramsay, I would be really pissed. That's my answer. And also, who cares about Rickon?
Why would you be so pissed? You love Ghost?
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah.
I like Ghost better than I like Rickon. Rickon was in the season for like 3 episodes. He was always just like a complaining little kid. And he got captured and like, oh, we're going to send your brother out there. Rickon was legitimately doing nothing. No offense to Rickon or anything like that, but Rickon legit did nothing.
So you just made 1 million enemies and one friend, and their name is PETA.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
What do you think?
I actually don't disagree with you, and I love me some Ghost, so I feel you.
Okay. This next one comes from @Captain Hopper, Jacob Hopper, ... we're a sitcom, ... we're a network soap opera or telenovela. I think he meant we're a sitcom or we're a network soap opera. Instead of weird, I'm just making fun of them.
Because I'm wondering, what if we are a sitcom?
So if you watched SNL this week, they did a bunch of Game of Thrones spin-offs and or prequels/sequels. One was called, Castle Black, and it was this a total telenovela soap opera that looked pretty funny. And then they did one called...
I wonder if they watched, and that's why they tweeted this.
The Queen of King's Landing, which was a spoof on the King of Queens.
Oh, well, that's great.
Which is good.
Would you rather it were a sitcom or it were a soap opera?
Well, it's already a pretty awesome soap opera.
But it is and it isn't, because we don't get enough, you banged my brother.
Jon Snow, you know nothing, Jon Snow, and then she dies. I mean, that's a pretty soap opera moment.
It's partially soap operas, but as an ABC soap fan for over a decade who watched every day, Port Charles General Hospital, All My Children, and One Life to Live.
That makes you better than me?
Yes, in many ways, except for all the ways that count. I think that if this was a soap opera, it would be like you do a little more breaking of the fourth wall too, and moments like when the sisters end up, when Sansa ends up betraying Littlefinger instead of Arya, then we pan to the audience where everybody goes like that for a little longer.
I don't want that at all.
Okay, so you'd rather it be a sitcom?
Yeah, I'll take a sitcom, no problem.
Laugh track or no?
No laugh track. Like a single cam comedy of like Life in the Citadel. With all the old people, basically like Golden Girls, but with old dudes. Or like, welcome to the Seven. We're that crazy religion that's always killing people. Let's check in on the priestess, or something like that. Or perhaps like, something in Highgarden, or maybe it's a soap opera in Dorne. Everybody seems to be just getting drunk and banging in Dorne, so maybe it's just like a relationship comedy, sort of like Friends, but in Dorne.
Or every time Arya takes somebody else's face, then it's like,
oh!
Hey!
Or it's like Scooby-Doo, where they take out the face.
Who's she gonna be next?
Old Mr. Smithers!
What is it? Cuckles and...
Oysters, clams, and cuckles.
Oysters, clams, and cuckles. But
Nailed it. Yes. This one comes from @MasterSlicer. What if King Robert went to Winterfell in season 1 to kill Jon Snow? Well, it would have just been a miniseries movie. It would have been a movie of the week.
I think that he's one of the only characters, hence why he had to get brought back, that this show past season 1 might not have completely worked without. So
with who, Jon Snow?
Yeah, I think he is a staple in a way that I wouldn't have preferred the show without him.
I agree.
I think we need him. So
I mean, he is, when they brought him back to life, which you could kind of see coming.
Yes,
it mattered. You know what I mean?
And it wouldn't have mattered as much if that had been a season 1 turn.
Totally. 100%. All right, next one comes from @SenecaDavid1. What if Bran is the Night King?
How would that work?
I don't know. But also, they kind of look alike.
I don't know how to respond to that. Well, at least he would have thoughts, and we agree on that. So
Maybe
no.
what if Bran is the Night King? Then he's able to I keep thinking he's going to warg the Night King's dragon and get but I don't know if he can get into the Night King's head, because every time he gets into the Night King, something bad happens. But then the Night King did touch his arm. So many things.
That's true, but I'm curious, if he is the Night King, does that mean the Night King is him?
Again.
You get what I mean?
Yes. Again, something I've always been a little confused by. Yeah. Is the Night King him and him is the Night King? Do you know what I'm saying?
Dayman.
Yes. Master
No.
of the Night King. Also, I would
Champion of the dragons.
and then dragon. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that when I read this question before we went on live, I said, "What if Brian is the Night King?" I was like, "Brian? Is there a Brian in?"
But then we wrote a whole Brian storyline.
I know, Brian is
I'm
awesome.
pretty positive by the end of this show, Brian is going to be the one on the throne.
And they're like, "Who's Brian?" He's like, "I'm Brian.
It's me, Brian.
I'm Brian.
I've been also chasing after this the whole time.
Guys,
just cameras haven't been on me.
It's me, Brian. I've been here the whole time."
It's Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Brian. Yeah, Brian.
Yes.
With an I.
yes.
Brian.
With an I.
Yeah.
Got it.
You were mistaking me for
True.
the other Brian.
Right. All right, this one, it might be a
Life
little
of.
deep. I feel like I don't want to ask this one, but let's answer this one quickly. At the real underscore real under at the underscore real underscore Creel.
Also,
What if
you
Rob's
okay?
Yeah. Had a little bit of a meltdown there.
At the real underscore.
What if Robb Stark went on to win? I don't know. If we didn't have the Red Wedding, I don't think I'd love this show as much as I do.
But we still would have had every Joffrey purple wedding and every major moment. I mean, I think Red Wedding was a huge one, but I don't think this would. It wouldn't be the show that it is, but I still think if Robb Stark went on to win, I would still be invested. I love Robb Stark.
Okay, here's the thing. I 100% agree with you. I think the Red Wedding was more of a shock value than an overall plot decider. Because as Robb Stark gone on to win, Ramsay Bolton still could have taken Winterfell.
Yeah.
The king. I mean, this is the
The
whole thing.
storyline would have changed, but we also could have gotten it back ultimately to where it is now.
Robb's an underdog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I do think he would have died at some point because
Totally.
Robb just was not made to survive in this world.
No. He liked the chicks too much.
Yeah.
He was all about the ladies and not about the victories.
And the chicks liked the Robb.
No doubt. Next
Oh,
one.
yeah?
Yes.
No doubt.
This one comes from Albert Waradharma at J. Waradharma. What if Hodor didn't hold the door?
Well, first of all of the gifs and memes of 2017 was that?
Yeah,
2016
totally.
would be gone. So that's a big one for society. And then also, I think that's probably the saddest moment of Game of Thrones, at least top 5. So I don't know if
Honestly, if Hodor didn't hold the door, again, I think it would be a knock on the show.
me too.
And Bran probably would have died. They all would have died, and it would have been
100% that.
Yeah.
It would have been, do we take Hodor out by Hodor's self, or do we take out everybody?
Exactly.
So
And again,
it's
I
not
think
like
that's such a
Hodor would have
huge-
lived if Hodor didn't hold the door.
Let me say this. I think you're a great person, Albert, but what if Hodor didn't hold the door? I don't think we have Game of Thrones if he doesn't hold the door.
I don't want to think about it, Albert.
yeah.
Albert!
Okay, this one comes from Eric Monroe at mmkoch200. What if
Love Eric.
Stannis is still alive since we never saw him actually die?
This I think about all the time because
you really?
Yeah,
You
because
think
the
he's
way that
alive?
they shot it and the tree and the whole situation, I just think that we have on purpose seen all of our major characters. It's not like they shy away from gore and guts and blood and whatever. I'm not saying I think he is still alive, but the show has definitely left it open for if he was still alive, nobody would be like, "That's retcon." They retconned it. He could
Stop yelling at
technically,
me.
whatever. I
didn't
can't help
retcon
it. He could technically still be alive.
Sure.
And I think that would be an awesome plot twist.
I think it would be great if somehow he died, the body was left, the Night King got him, And even though that,
Then he has no thoughts based on your Night King situation.
I know, but that'd be another oh shit, Stannis is a dead man.
Oh, so you just want shock factor.
Totally.
I get that.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, I
Fan
get
service. Next one comes
but
from.
I like the response in there from Kingslayer. You know what I say. I don't know what you say.
Kingslayer Network, we got nothing.
I don't know what you say.
No, I think he mean like the king. He got slayed by a king.
Okay.
Kingslayer Net. He's really trolling it. Scott Shigemi at Scott Shigemi. What if the season opens with Peter Baelish talking with Cersei? Then you see a Valyrian knife on Peter's belt. Then open credits roll. Would you lose it?
No, I think there are bigger ways to open the season.
I think it's a pretty cool thing because I did love how they opened with her killing Walter Frey last year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's awesome.
With Arya.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that.
If that's how Cersei dies, I think it'd be a total fan disservice. Because Cersei deserves to be eaten by a dragon or something like that. Or Daenerys taking her out with something. Or Jon Snow or Sansa. Or, I mean, again.
Episode 1, though, Cersei has to make it to the end of this. Totally. She is one of the only people who I legitimately think has a shot at
staying on the throne.
Yeah. So I think that would be a huge mistake if that's what this is. But this isn't saying that he does anything with it. It's just saying that we see it.
And then open credits. But that means that Cersei doesn't know that Peter Baelish is dead. That a raven hadn't gone to her and said, hey, Baelish is donezo. Yeah. It's a cool thought, though. I like that question.
Thanks, Scott. And your last name's dope.
Shigemi.
Sup? What you gonna Shigemi?
This one says, this one comes from Enemy Gold. What if the show ends with Daenerys and Jon Snow each flying on a dragon towards the screen like the never-ending story? Screen goes black, and then we see the Game of Thrones logo. I mean, that's fine, I guess.
I do feel like at some point we're going to see that scene.
You think so?
I do. I think we're going to see. I don't think it's going to be the end of the show.
Do you know what movie this is from? Okay. It's going to get a little weird.
I don't know.
I'm going to need 2 dragons. Do you know what that's from? It's Will Ferrell in Starsky and Hutch.
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know. I was thinking like How to Train Your Dragon.
It's going to get a little weird. 2 dragons. Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to see this scene at some point.
Totally.
And somebody else might be sitting on the throne, but they're sitting on their frickin' dragons. I don't think so, actually, though. I think
you think dragon and throne.
Yeah.
All right, this one comes from Ernest Obiozar, at Obion E87. What if Joffrey never died?
Well,
I don't think.
If Joffrey never died, Sansa would have.
Yes, correct. And
then my favorite dynamic is the Sansa Arya and just Stark sibling dynamic in general. So I would really not be a fan of this. And also, then we never get the entire Ramsay storyline, which is probably the most disgusting storyline in the entire thing.
But also the craziest, which I like. I mean, it's disgusting,
yeah,
but it's like, I
totally.
mean, it's so Game of Thrones.
And then
terrible.
we don't get that amazing death when finally she admits she's the one who poisoned Joffrey right before she dies, which was one of the best moments of the show, too.
That's great.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So I think that Joffrey had to die. And also, there was nothing worse he could do. He had already showed all of his cards. Like, he was a abusing psychopath, and nothing would surprise me anymore. So once you know everything about a character, there's no point in keeping them around anymore.
I'm with you. Totally. All right, next one comes from at Ryan Howard 50. What if we find out Jon Snow got the mother of dragons pregnant on the last episode? I guarantee you that's what's happening.
I think possibly.
But she can't have children, right? Because of the witch.
Yeah, but
he could
all the time. You can't do something and then you can.
Correct.
But I just am wondering, like, incest baby wise, what do we think about that kid?
Yeah.
What does that kid go on
Kinda
to do?
creepy-ish things. Like you're torn.
Yeah, I'm definitely torn. Yeah. But I actually don't think this is what's going to happen, though.
What's crazy enough is this was the being like torn over this. This is what inspired Natalie Imbruglia to write Torn.
Yeah, and it was crazy is that she actually saw this episode apparently in the 90s. It's
crazy.
So whenever that came out.
I know, it's nuts.
She knew. She's a future seer. Bran told her.
Yeah.
As the Night King.
Oh, damn it, you got me. This one comes from at Captain Hopper. Captain Hopper. What if Josh McCougan and Roxy Striar could write the end of Game of Thrones?
What do you think?
Should we have saved this till the end? Should this have been our last question?
Well, you did it now, so
okay.
quickly pitch.
My end
Who are
of
you
Game of
focusing on?
Thrones. I've seen this question, and I think the person that should be on the Iron Throne is Sansa. I think she's been through the most of anybody, and I think she should be the one to lead because she's been raped and pillaged and married and already the queen and everything.
And her character arc is for real.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to write the end, I think Jon Snow dies. I think Daenerys dies. I think Cersei dies. I think all the people that want to like have this as a thing.
How about Arya?
I think Arya's dead too. I think she dies in battle. Or she just goes off and she's just a sister. Maybe she runs Winterfell while Sansa's down in King's Landing.
Or she's the queen's hand, or the
hand of the queen.
Hand of the queen.
Yeah, something like that. But I think if I was going to root for anybody and who I think should be on the throne, I think it's Sansa.
I do not disagree. I think that Sansa's an underrated character because of how annoying she was when she was younger and
Totally.
how like wimpy and oh my god, my sister uses
The most growth of any character.
Yeah, so I think that she would, if I was living there, I would want Sansa to be on the throne because I think that Dany's gotten a little too much at times, and I think that the Game of Thrones show might end with Dany on the throne, but I would rather see Sansa there.
And I've said this before, and I've gotten hate for it, but if they melted the throne and it became a democracy, and they had like a round table of people voting on things,
King Arthur.
like something like that. That all the kingdoms got their say in something. There wasn't just one king. That the Iron Throne was, and it became.
So who's on the committee?
Daenerys,
Dany,
Jon, Sansa,
Cersei
the girl,
or no?
Cersei's gone. She dead. She has to go.
Tyrion.
Tyrion, the girl from Bear Island. Like all the people of all the houses.
Lady Mormont.
Yeah, they've all got a say, and there's a vote.
Yeah, that would be definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. You could go so many ways. We just don't know. We don't know. But I do think if I have to predict, I think a woman is going to end up on the throne based on so many different signs that we have
Listen,
seen
if it's
so
not
far.
Sansa, it better be Daenerys.
It just seems like that's the way that the show has set this up.
Totally.
But could be wrong.
Totally.
We'll see. Could be Cersei. You don't know.
What if, so at Geeks with Shields, what if Marjorie had married Robb and taken Highgarden over to the north? I don't think that was never really like an opportunity. I feel like with how these storylines went, I never saw that being a thing.
But
Now,
it's hypothetical.
But it's
you
hypothetical.
can pitch whatever you want.
Again, I never really thought of this is where I was kind of going with this.
I love both those characters.
Right.
Marjorie is
Awesome. I
think the show would be better
Natalie
if
Dormer.
she wasn't gone.
Me too. I feel like she's the only one that should have survived the explosion with the green stuff, with the wildfire.
And she's another one that I guess theoretically it's kind of a Stannis situation, but not really.
I agree.
She's gone.
I think that would have been an awesome storyline because I think Marjorie and Robb together would have been incredible. I don't mind the girl that Robb ended up with. She's a good actress, and I thought that was cool, but I did not like that storyline.
But Robb might not have ended up dead if he didn't end up with that chick. So.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think they would have been a good couple, actually, if we're getting into therapy
Some
here.
ships?
Yeah.
Some Robb Marjorie? What would you call
And
robbery?
like really hot babies.
Mob? Marge Robb?
Oh, mob.
Mob? Or
I'm
Rogery?
into the mob.
Into the mob. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Ship the mob.
This next one comes from at James_Grant3. What if Jaime Lannister wouldn't have lost his hand? I don't think that really matters.
I think that it just wouldn't have given him enough emotional depth.
I was
love
gonna
to
say
see what it did.
vulnerability.
Yeah, what it did with his character, and also I think it's great to have somebody there who kicks as much butt as he does, and he's doing it with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be a fan of that.
Okay. I'm with you. Totally. What if this next one comes from at ADFX85? That's Alden. What if the season 8 finale will be a disappointment?
Well,
Wink face.
that would be a
emoji.
bummer, but then I guess at least we would have that making of thing right after it. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that airing?
I
right
mean,
then?
I think that obviously not everybody's going to be happy with the finale.
There's no
We're
way.
going to talk about it, and it's going to be a discussion, and that's how it's going to go. There's going to be haters across the board.
Because it's not like we're traveling uncharted ground now. There's no book. There's nothing to say,
Nothing.
we knew what this was coming. So I think that definitely at least one person in the world is going to be disappointed by it.
Yeah.
But I just can't. I trust them so much at this point. I cannot see, Josh, a finale that I'm not at least somewhat satisfied with.
I know. Me too.
So I don't want to think about your question, Alden.
Like this is this is a a sports franchise that has won every game in the regular season, and they have one more game to. I mean, they have not let us down so far.
One more game.
And then all of a sudden, if it's a disappointment, they lose 100-40.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
I agree.
This one comes from @28Fraser, Gray Jedi 28. What if Roxy Stryer is the real mother of dragons?
Well, I am blonde by dye. And I do like creatures and fire. So who's to say I'm not?
True. Okay. This other one comes from Grey Jedi 28. We kind of went over this. What if the Red Wedding doesn't happen? Kind of went over that. What if Rob Stark doesn't die? I would have loved to seen Catelyn Stark stay alive. So. But without Catelyn Stark dying, we never get the Sansa storylines, which I'm sure Sansa would be happy with, but we never get her character growth. We definitely don't get the Arya storylines, which I've been a proponent of saying that I always thought they were boring. The girl with no name, the girl with no face, I thought that was all very boring, but it did pay off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was boring at the time, but it paid off.
I didn't think it was boring. I know you did.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't.
I want to ask some questions.
Oh, go ahead.
This one coming from, because I know we're coming to an end here. This one's coming from @Graham Maysharp.
I'm sorry for taking all the questions. I apologize. We should have alternated, and I was rude.
#pissed.
Yeah.
What if the whole show actually took place in a snow globe? Do you think that there is I know this is a silly question, but do you think that there is a way that this show, they do something meta like that?
No.
Where this
No
show,
effing
there's no
way.
way. Okay.
No way.
That would be the most disappointing.
I mean, there's a lot of people.
Like it was a dream, or it was
There's a lot of people out there that say that the Seinfeld series finale was terrible.
I hate it.
I personally loved it because it brought in all the characters.
But
I thought it was really cool. But it's Seinfeld. Okay, made sense. I thought it was great. If it comes and this is a snow globe and some dad's like, and that is the Game of Thrones. Are you ready for bedtime, milady? She's like, that was a 60-hour friggin' bedtime story, Dad. He's like, I know. And she's like, that was a lot of rape stuff in there. I know. And they didn't have so many whores and brothels. There was so many.
You're welcome, honey.
Yeah. Now you know all about the world. And what about the short dwarf? What about him?
I will take that snow globe and I will throw it.
I will go to a local Hallmark store. Yeah. I will buy a snow globe for like $60, and I will walk outside of the store and I will smash it on the ground.
Another question from Robert Parker @RBRTPRKR98. What if Oberyn won?
Man, that would have been awesome.
I mean, but again, one of the best moments in Game of Thrones history. I can't get that out of my head.
When they break him out?
Pun intended. No,
and they smush his eyeballs?
Like, and
then you hear the...
I can't. System. I never forget. So, but Oberyn
was great.
There's something about like the sexiness of all the things he was doing. You just kind of dug
Dornish sexiness.
Love that Dorn sexiness. Yep.
I mean, if Oberyn doesn't die, then we don't get the breakout. We don't get the death of Tywin Lannister, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think those are very important things. I know I'm being literal. But true. And we also don't get that scene, although it was pretty awesome when we thought he beat them out and you're like, yeah, oh, fuck! Another oh shit moment we don't get. You're right.
All
right, what you got?
There's so many great ones here. Yeah. From @LJ_Malone. What if Dany fell in love with the Hound?
Oh.
So much sexual heat, spicy.
Aye. He's not going to stand by the flames, that's for sure. Doesn't like a fire.
I could see Dany falling in love with the Hound somehow, but I can't see the Hound falling in love with Dany.
Me neither.
It just would be such a weird storyline.
I totally agree with you.
And then they fell in love.
I know.
What?
Huh?
How?
Hey, so guys, welcome to the Writers' Room, Season 8 of Game of Thrones. So, hey, we're going to throw a wrench in the system. The Hound and Dany actually end up together.
Like, how would we get to that
let that
point?
guy in?
Are they pen pals?
Yeah. Huh?
Is he well written? Is Arya writing
to the Hound?
Like, no,
love notes for the Hound to Dany?
Yeah, I mean,
all good questions.
I just, But I do like it.
Yeah.
Question from @Cal Yonce. Cal Yonce, like Beyonce.
Like Beyonce?
What if Daenerys died in the fire of season 1?
Well, I mean, if you want me to go literal here, then the show's a wash.
Yeah.
The show is 100% a
but
wash.
Emotionally.
I don't think I care as much.
Me neither.
Because I thought she had a good season 1, but she's grown. If we're talking about great best storylines in the show and growth over time, I think you go Sansa, Daenerys, Jon Snow, Arya. I mean, the Hound, Samuel Tarly, right? Like those
Yes,
are.
you're forcing it.
Now I'm forcing it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. What's his name? Come on.
Tyrion?
No. I mean, I do love Tyrion's arc. So maybe let me throw that in there. That's my bad. I forgot about Tyrion. I don't know how I forgot about him, but I love Tyrion. So he's got like the fourth best storyline.
You were probably drunk thinking about the drunk.
Yeah. But if she dies in the first episode, then we don't get dragons. I guess we do get dragons, but who's going to be in control of the dragons? If dragons go wild, then it becomes a show of people versus dragons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just not into it. Also, she is by far and away the most famous character on the show.
100%.
If you don't watch Game of Thrones,
Kit Harington.
I think if you do not watch Game of Thrones, you know who Daenerys is.
Now.
You know that face.
Totally.
Yes. I just think the Mother of Dragons, all those references. Jon Snow, yes, because of the billboards and everything too, but his character is just not as striking looking. Her with the white hair and the long, I think that
The tendrils.
the show loses a little bit of its clout.
Totally.
Maybe last question?
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
Dude.
Okay. Well, this is a good one from @hot_cinnamon89.
Oh,
Everybody loves some hot cinnamon.
Sprinkle it on there.
Two-parter.
Sorry.
What if Game of Thrones ends with a time jump to a present-day Westeros? And then the second part is, what does a modern-day spin-off of Game of Thrones look like?
I love this question.
Yeah.
This is great. First of all, love time jumps. And you know why I love time jumps? Is because they did the time jump in Walking Dead and totally changed the series for the better. This season of Walking Dead has been incredible, and I love a good time jump. Plus, I love the time jump in like a Parks and Rec. I love time jumps in finales. I want to see what it looks like 25 years from now.
I agree with what you're saying theoretically. However, you're talking about shows that take place on planet Earth. And I don't know if this is a time jump, present day. Is this not present day? Are we supposed to be assuming that this is not present day?
I think that we're supposed to be thinking this is a million years ago.
But here?
Yes.
Really?
In the Seven Kingdoms.
I've always thought that this was I've always thought that this was an alternate planet. Like
okay, yeah, then I'll give you alternate planet.
Yeah.
That's fine. But so it's taking place on another planet, but now.
I've always kind of thought that. But I guess because they've talked about the prequel and all of that stuff, but
Sure.
I don't know. I just thought that this was like a different version of what things. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Okay. No,
But the way they speak is very like old school.
Old
yeah,
English,
of
right?
course. But
So
I never
so
thought of
you
it not as
you don't
present
want
day.
to see a time jump.
Well, if we saw a time jump, what I don't want to see is like
The Lord of the
Danny
Rings
in
ending.
sneakers and like
Yeah.
I don't
What's
want
up? It's Danny D and the Dragon Pig.
I don't want it to be our present day. If they did present day, I still would want them to be in like, I don't know, gowns.
Gowns, she says.
Think more. I mean, do you want to see her in ripped jeans and a tee?
No, not particularly.
And is Danny alive in present day if this was millions of years ago? I don't know. Probably not. So do you want to see Danny's great granddaughter in jeans and a tee being like, as legend says, my great
No, I don't. I just want
great-"
to see like 20 years from now what it looks like with the new
So
person
you think
in
this
control.
is 20 years?
Yeah, like 20, 25, or like near their death, like near the end. Like some Starks running around with Sansa and whoever she's with now.
Okay.
You know?
Because the second part, modern day spin-off of Game of Thrones look like, I don't know.
So Daenerys is.
Because do they care about a throne? And what does that throne look like?
Yeah.
Is it really like, I don't know,
I mean, the throne's been
DJ
around
station?
for thousands of years. So if you time jump modern day, again, how far are we time jumping? What? Yeah, are they DJing? Or they have iPhones? Are we now in London? And it's like, hello, I'm the great like you said, granddaughter of Daenerys Targaryen, and this is my throne, and the dragons are currently alive and roaming the world. What is it?
Yeah.
You know?
And how many dragons are there then?
How many dragons? Are the dragons banging now? Or like, did they have
You would
more
think
dragons?
If you're alive thousands of years, you got to get
You
a
gotta
little
be-
bang session.
right?
as
Or
a
are those the
dragon.
last dragons things of a situation?
Like the last of the Mohegans.
I just can't see this being in a modern day. But if it was in a modern day, let me just give it to you real quick.
Yeah.
Jon Snow's kids hanging out in the alley, hanging around with Sansa's aunt. Nah, I don't know.
Who are Jon Snow's kids? Did he bang Dany? Or is this Did he adopt?
Can a man brought back from the dead still bang a woman that's supposedly not allowed to have babies?
Interesting question.
Right?
What would that mean for current
Did
day
Melisandre
spin-off?
make them ghost babies? I'm so confused. I
We don't know that she didn't.
It's true.
So, and then is Stannis there still alive babysitter?
Because
now we're getting weird.
Because now it's
Do
like
they
you're
go to
getting
school?
old.
Is
Yeah.
there school?
Is there a school? I've never seen a school.
I've never seen a school.
Not
So I
once.
think our spinoff obviously takes place at school.
Totally. It's a High School Musical, Game of Thrones style with teens. Drake makes a cameo. Zac
A
Efron
long
there.
time ago, they told us to build a wall, build a wall, build a wall.
It's going to be a huge friggin' wall. It's going to be made of ice.
And then we did, and it had to fall, had to fall, had to fall.
I got to be honest with you. I hate this song.
Oh, crap.
I hate musicals. And if you put music in Game of Thrones, I would light my TV on fire and throw it into your living room.
Throw it in the living room.
All right, this has been Hypothetical
Josh
Questions with Josh and
Macuga
Roxy. Thank you so
hates
much
musical.
for listening and watching us. We really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast feed, watch Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched it, do you have time to binge? You have about 60 hours from right now to get to
Get on it.
get on it. Binge every episode.
Is there a
It's totally
single
worth your
person in the
time.
world doing that right now?
I don't know. I know it's not that, and he's only seen the first 4 episodes.
What a.
We're gonna call him a loser.
Yes, I was.
See, it was close. I'm at Josh Macuga on Twitter and Instagram. You guys can check out the Josh Macuga Show on YouTube. The Afternoons with Josh and Ken is a podcast. Collider Live every single day, and Collider Video here. All the kind of fun things, especially Collider TV Talk, which is the feed you're listening to right now. Roxy.
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Stryer. Also on my Patreon, I'm putting up the entire version to this video because we clip
cool.
out the video, we do the audio on Collider. But if you want to see the whole video, go to patreon.com/Roxy Stryer to see Josh Macuga and my lovely face the whole time.
The real Dragon Queen of Collider. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always.
Oh, your dragon's better than mine.
Put down the book, pick up the remote.